Just did that. All right, now we're live. All right. What's going on? This is week 2. Brand new for me. This is week 3 for all the podcasts. I know I skipped a week, but this is week number 2. I said I was going to do a lot last show, but I couldn't do it because I was so busy talking about the stinkers of 2023 and the best movies of 2023. I took a lot of time to do that, but we're here finally. We're gonna talk about what I was wanting to talk about last week, which is talking about ow, talking about the best of 20 or the most anticipated, what to look forward to of 2024, and what to look or away from in 2024. Just the movies that I'm excited for, most anticipated, and then we're gonna talk about ranking the January movies. As I saw 7 in January, I didn't see a lot. I didn't see all 8 that I was supposed to see. I didn't see Mean Girls. Come on, this. Why is my hair like that? Oh, I should have gotten my hat. Whatever. I'll just. Not a big problem, is it? Okay. But whatever. We're gonna get into this. If you're brand new here, Western Star Movie Podcast, HJW, your host, and let's get into the video, or let's get into the news, shall we? So, 2023 was a year where every week, I would say every week. Oh, fuck. Ah, sorry, but blockbusters were coming out every week, and let's just say that most of them bombed badly. A lot of them, Indiana Jones, Flash, a lot of big titles that were supposed to be big moneymakers, and in a universe, if it wasn't 2023 and it was like what 2017, all these movies would have made over $500 million, but they didn't. Which is unfortunate, but at the same time, you can't blame them because there was an audience that didn't really care or didn't want to see them. But in 2024, that's hopefully not the case because now we are getting big blockbusters every other week. We're not getting them as much as we think we are, but we are getting them. We are getting them. Just not every week, like in June. But we're going to talk about what, in my opinion, are the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. And personally, to me, because there are some that I really do appreciate more than others, some that I want to do well more than others, and some that I just don't really care about. Um, so we're actually going to let me just pull up an article real quick. Okay, we're going to talk about movies. First off, I'm going to talk about the movies that I think are good enough that should be mentioned, but are not in my most anticipated. And some of these I'm concerned. I don't know if I'm really excited for. So let's get started. First one is obviously the remake of Roadhouse. If you're familiar with Family Guy, Peter Griffin, Roadhouse, all that stuff, or Roadhouse. I don't know the Peter Griffin impression, but okay, there's that one. Second one is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I really was enjoyed with the last movie, or Ghostbusters Frozen. No, not Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I was a okay fan of the last movie. Obviously, it had a lot of fan service, but this one is looking to expand it more. I'm just not feeling that the trailers have done it for me. They have dropped Jason Reitman from director. Instead, they're getting Gil Keenan, who was actually originally supposed to direct the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Well, what do you know? But I just don't think the trailers have done it yet. There's a lot of nostalgia, but I don't know. I don't know if it's doing it for me, but whatever. Next up, Civil War from Alex Garland, the A24 film, which looks interestingly divisive. It's a weird world where we're in an election year, so again, they say this line in the trailer: "God help us all." Yeah, God help us all this year. Challengers, the newest Luca Gia, Luca Giudicino movie starring Zendaya, Mike Fast. It's a tennis movie. You've probably seen the trailer a bunch of times now, so I'm interested. Um, Again, this is I think one of the very first movies to be pushed because of the strikes, so that's interesting. A movie that I think I've heard of that I'm actually curious on how good it is the new Abigail. This is a film that's based from directors of the last two Scream movies, which were really good, and this one's about a group of kidnappers collecting millions of dollars, and they have a child there who turns out to be a vampire. Sounds silly, but I don't know. This could be interesting. The Fall Guy, great looking movie from David Leitch. I'm interested to see how this one turns out. Furiosa, again, another one that I'm excited for. Inside Out 2, Bad Boys 4. Um, and then the rest are kind of like, whatever, they're there and stuff. So I don't really have a lot to talk about with them, but I do have my 10 that I'm actually interested in to say otherwise. Some other movies that are coming out that I would like to mention quickly. Lord of the Rings, The War on Raheem. This one actually catches my eye because it's a based off it's a Lord of the Rings prequel, but it's animated with an anime style. I have not liked anime until I saw Suzume last year, and I'm now interested to see what they're going to do. Plus, it's a Lord of the Rings film that we have gotten since like 2014, so it's been like 10 years. And then Sonic the Hedgehog 3, because I enjoyed Sonic 2. I enjoyed Sonic 1. That's where I'm at. So let's get into it. Let's actually talk about the 10 movies I'm looking forward to the most. So let's start. So the first one up, number 10. This is one that's probably a movie Nolan has heard about, but this is a heist comedy called Above the Line. Above the Line is a movie um, is being described of the world of swingers with a sensibility of Pulp Fiction. Um, so the premise goes as essentially Hollywood idiots getting in the way over their heads. On Christmas Eve, six fledgling Hollywood hopefuls get a mysterious knock at the door and an envelope of money at their feet. It contains the opportunity of a lifetime to go burglarize a mutually despised producer that once screwed them over and steal his Best Picture awards. Who organized this holiday heist? Who will go through with this preposterous plan? And will these desperate idiots pull it off? Um, this is from director Jeffrey Scott Collins. I do not know anything about from his script written with John O'Matt. Rainbow Time, Parallel, some of these things I've never heard about. But what really gets me is that the concept is kind of interesting. I do like the concept. Um, but the real reason why I'm looking forward to this film is that of one person in particular, and that's the incredible Sophia Ali. I think what she's doing now after The Wild was canceled is great. She's currently on Chicago Med. And I think this is the first movie she's doing since Uncharted. And Uncharted was like I think the one that puts her on the map. And so I'm actually looking forward to this film. I just said the title, I said the premise, and I think it looks awesome. We haven't seen a trailer. It's supposed to come out in 2024 that I have heard of. And I want to see what this woman does because I'm rooting for this cast of The Wilds. I really, again, I will defend it. That's not even the reason why. I think it looks good. I think this sounds really unique, and hopefully it looks good as well from the trailers that I will see. Hopefully, get a trailer, maybe come out in the summer or this fall. Number 9 is the newest I say newest, but it's Imaginary, and it's 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 imaginary. Now this one it's different. There's two imaginary movies that are coming out this year. This one is not the John Krasinski one that is directed. This is the um this is the Blumhouse horror film that I actually think is intriguing. This is about a woman who moves in with her new family and her childhood home, and her stepdaughter finds this teddy bear that she used to play with, and it's like, oh, it's sweet and dandy, and then her behavior starts acting up, and then things start happening. Some weird elements around this bear start to unravel. What? Headphones? Oh yeah, yeah, sure, cool. He needed headphones. So like I was saying, this is a when the things start happening, the bear, you see, like, oh, the bear is not really a bear. It might be a supernatural entity or whatever. And I think that this movie looks interesting. I don't want them to screw this up. That's the thing. I don't want them to screw this one up, because if they screw it up, then I'm just gonna say, you know what? Well, you disappointed me badly, so I'm gonna give you a failing grade. This is from the director of Jeff Wadlow. Jeff Wadlow directed, and he had directed two horror films from last what I've seen. He directed Truth or Dare, which was, I think, over time, if you're really in the mood to watch a bad movie, you want to get drunk with your friends, you should. But that's the perfect movie, and I just kind of appreciate it a little bit now, but not really. And then Fantasy Island, which just sucks. So in terms of horror, this guy's not directed anything good. And yet again, we have another film that looks promising, and it's PG-13. Don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna tackle that. I really hope they do well. All right, next up now we have number 8, Furiosa. Actually, no, did I say Furiosa? No, that's not Furiosa. What is it, Furiosa? A Quiet Place Day One. That's what I meant to say. Quiet Place Day One. I was a fan of the first two Quiet Place movies. This one is not directed by John Krasinski. This one's directed by Michael Swarovski, who directed Pig. If you guys don't know, it's pretty much, they say it's like John Wick, but with a pig, and if John Wick wasn't a killer in a way. But I've heard it's really good. It stars Nicolas Cage. And the trailer that I've seen from this looks awesome, and it looks like it has the same tension from the other films and put into this one. I am really excited to see what they do with this one, and one that I hope is good. I really hope this movie is good. Otherwise, it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, well, spin-offs are not necessary, and maybe we should stop making more movies in this franchise. Number 7 on the list is, again, this is where we're getting into like really interesting ones, because if you told me that we were getting another Alien movie, I would have been like, why the hell are we getting another Alien movie? The last two movies weren't even good or didn't do well in the box office. But the reason why I am. Oh, man. Is that. That's not moving. Whatever. Okay, these are moving. Whatever. Um. Wait, James, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, we're good. No, just that these two things were not moving, but these were. Back to Alien. If you were told me that an Alien movie was coming out this year, I would have been like, I don't care. They should have just put it on Hulu because it's not going to do well. But, if you were to tell me Fede Alvarez was directing this movie and it was going to star an entirely new cast and there's going to be a new centric Alien movie, I would be like, yep, that's for me. This Alien Romulus is number 7. And in a world where we're getting so many, like, I want to say like sequels and stuff. This doesn't feel like they're not making it for a sequel. What this movie really is they're doing it for like Prey, where it's a standalone film, and they're doing it well. They're doing justice for this, and I think that's what I like about this one so much is that they're not willing to show you like a lot. And plus, it's a low. But this movie, yeah, they were gonna put this on Hulu, and then they were like, we're just gonna put it in. We're gonna put it on in theaters because they want people to see this movie. And I hope they do it with the next Predator movie. If they want to make the new Predator film, then they should. That's what I'm looking forward to. Again, I don't know how they're going to tackle it, but hopefully they do it justice. Again, I'm saying justice because you don't know if this guy can screw it up. You don't know. But again, I'm putting money on this guy. I'm putting money on this, and hopefully they do really well. So number 7 again. I'm putting this would swap out, but no, yeah. Number 7 is Alien Romulus. Number 6, and again, don't come at me for this one, but I'm putting in Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine at number 6. And there's a lot of other films. For my personal opinion, I'm looking forward to more than Deadpool and Wolverine. Because I'll admit, Deadpool 2 is not as good as the Deadpool 1, but it's still a good movie. The thing I'm really interested about this is how they're going to do with Wolverine. Now, again, they shouldn't shoehorn him in and be like, well, we want him in here because fans are going to be excited about it, and then they just don't do anything. They have to do something really well with this film, and I am hoping that this is the one that will help, because everybody who have seen this film, who have heard about this film, said it's going to save comic book movies and the MCU. Let's pray it does. Sean Levy directing. That's awesome. He's worked with Ryan Reynolds on Free Guy and Adam Project. Good movies with Ryan Reynolds. Quirky comedy. This one's R-rated. It has to be R-rated. There's no way they're going to PG-13 Deadpool. It's going to be R-rated. They're going to have a lot of cameos. And it became the most viewed trailer of all time now with 365 million views in 24 hours, beating out Spider-Man No Way Home. So, $1 billion. $1 billion coming. Hopefully that's the case. So, number 6 is Deadpool and Wolverine. All right. Now, these next top 5, these are ones for me that I think they're the ones that stick. So at number 5, again, listen, you might call me crazy for this one, but this is a film that I think I have been looking forward to really more than most. And that is, again, why would you put this over Godzilla, or no, not Godzilla, a Deadpool, well, I already told you, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. I think number 5, I think Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, just because I'm a fan of these movies, and because Godzilla Minus One was so damn good. This movie looks awesome. It looks awesome. It's from the same director, so you're going to get a lot more action sequences. And the one thing that this movie needs to do, the one thing that I think they need to do really well, is not do so much CGI. Or not CGI. Don't focus on humans. More CGI monsters. Just don't focus on the humans. And if you're gonna give us humans, make their dialogue good, or make their characters good. So and then because Godzilla King of the Monsters was a disaster with the human characters. It were just robots. Godzilla and versus Kong was good. This I hope is good. I really hope it's good. And it's gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna make a lot of money. And so my anticipation for that really works well. So I'm looking forward to that. So number 5, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Number 4 is, speaking of Kong, Monkey Man. I didn't even know what this movie was about. I didn't even know this movie was coming out. And then I saw the trailer, and it's from producer Jordan Peele and director Dev Patel. And the moment this trailer ended, I was like, dude, this is the Indian John Wick. And the way this movie's edited, the trailer edited, the style, the song choice, it gets me like, they're not messing around. This is like gonna be brutal. This is gonna be intense. This is gonna be awesome. This could be an epic film. And it comes out the first week of April. So I'm already stoked to see what they got with this one. Now, again, this movie premieres a little bit earlier in Sundance, I think, or the Southwest Film Festival. So, hopefully, and I say hopefully, this movie's good. Again, we don't know about these films, but I'm hoping this is good. Um, but that's to me the one that I'm looking forward to. The original, or more of an original concept, not based off of a sequel. Because the next 3 movies are actually based off of something that we've seen earlier. And number 3, I talked about Furiosa earlier and said how it's not. I don't think I talked about it yet, but if I said I haven't talked about it, or I did put it on my honorable mentions, I'm mistaken that, because my number 3 is Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. So number 3 is Furiosa. This looks awesome. Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth coming in for a origin story of one of the more popular characters of the last movie, Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa. I am super stoked. I'm super stoked. George Miller coming back to direct. When he makes movies, he makes good movies. And I am very intrigued to see how he's going to tackle the Furiosa character with hopefully good action. Maybe not as much CGI, because the last Mad Max movie was pure stunts, pure practical effects. And so I'm like, listen, you give me that, you give me intense action, I'm down for whatever you're going to give me. And again, I really hope this movie does well enough to maybe warrant its existence. If it doesn't, well, we're screwed. Number 2 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm just in awe with these trailers. I am just in awe with these trailers. They every time I see the trailer on the theater, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. I'm excited because these movies. Now, listen, these could end up being disappointing, but from what I have seen from the trailer, these movies look incredible. This is the new film in a trilogy, and I'm just hoping that this movie makes enough money to warrant a new film and franchise. I love the last trilogy: Rise of the Planet, Dawn of the Planet, War for the Planet, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It looks like it's set in the future, and this new ape is like, we've been hunting. Humans and apes are non-existent, but actually they used to be together. They used to help each other. It's like, wait a minute, so are apes the ones that are doing everything wrong? And it's like, why are we hunting humans? And that question is, the villain looks incredible. The villain looks incredible. Proximus Caesar, whatever his name is. I'm curious on how they're going to tackle it. And if they do tackle it really well, then we're in for a ride. It comes out May 10th, 2024. And so, number 1, what is the most anticipated movie of the year? Probably everybody has guessed it by now. If we haven't, well, sorry. But number 1 for me, I bought the bundles in Modern Warfare 3, and I'm sure to buy the next one that's coming out, Doom Part 2. Doom Part 2. I don't think you can say that Doom Part 2 is a much in cinematic achievement looking in the making. I don't think I can say. I think this is a cinematic achievement in the making, because I have heard nothing but great things about Doom Part 2. I've heard nothing but great things about Doom Part 2. And the social review embargo is apparently dropping today. I haven't checked it out yet, but Doom Part 1 I watched in theaters again. And I remember I went to this to Riedel Rock, which was like presented in IMAX. So like the 1.9 ratio was the best thing that you can offer. I didn't go see this movie in the city. I actually did go see it in the city on last Saturday. And oh my God, the film looks stellar. The sound, the scope. This is just good cinema. This is good cinema. And I don't understand why people are like, oh, this is boring. This is a boring film. It's like you have never watched good movies in your life, and I can tell you that you are missing out. This is truly a film to behold, and Doom Part 2 looks to add on to that. I am so excited to see what they're going to do. And hopefully they nail the book great. And I have heard the early reactions on YouTube has said this is a brilliant masterpiece. Let's just hope it is. Let's just hope it is. Sorry. All right. So again, recap of the list. Number 10, Above the Line. Number 9, Imaginary. Number 8, A Quiet Place Day 1. Number 7, Alien Romulus. Number 6, Deadpool 3. Number 5, Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. Number 4, Monkey Man. Number 3, Furiosa. Number 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And number 1 is Dune Part 2. And that is it for the segment of most anticipated. Now let's get into the actual ranking of the year, first ranking of the year. And this is for January 2024. Now, I have seen 7 movies. I was supposed to see 8, but I'm still waiting for Mean Girls to release on Paramount Plus because I've heard from people say it's not bad. It's maybe, I don't know, it's cringy. Or my sister said it was absolutely cringy. I'm going to see for myself. I'm not going to ask other people's opinions. I'm going to see for myself if the movie is purely crap. That's my opinion. But I've seen 7 movies in January, and I'll be honest, and I'll just say it right off the bat, this is not a good start of the year. Even some of the movies I've seen in early February, it hasn't been a good year at all. There have been some bad movies. And I mean some pretty bad movies. So I'm just curious to see how you guys will react to the list if you've seen any of these. So let's begin and talk about the worst movies of 2020, or the best to worst January 2024 movies. I said 2023, but it's 2024. So let's get started with number 9, no, I have 9 here, but number 7, Dead Last. And this is Founders Day. Who knows this movie? Well, it's a small film that was put out in January, the week of the 19th, in selective theaters. And I actually didn't watch this. I actually watched this on one of those free websites. And I literally was like, oh, if I'm going to get anything, I just tapped the play button and it played on its own. So I was like, oh, is it that bad enough to be like really, really free? Yeah, it's bad. How do I start with this movie? I'll start out with the acting. Acting's bad. Everything about this movie's bad. The acting in particular. There's not really a character that you attach to. This movie also has a little bit of identity crisis where it's like you don't know who the protagonist is because they talk about this woman and her love life torn apart. There's also this other guy that's in the movie, works at a movie theater. There's this what was it? There's this election that's going on, and then there's this teacher. Like you don't know who the protagonist of this movie is, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I guess it's Naomi Brace's character. But even she's kind of like an idiot. Like everybody in this movie is insanely stupid. You know. Now this is kind of like a take on the slasher genre back in the 90s, where it's like you take a nice holiday and you like Well, there's a killer on the loose wearing like a mask and it has a weapon. This time the weapon's a gavel with a knife out of the end. So I mean that was cool, but the rest of the movie's really awful. Um, Acting sucks. The writing is just hilarious and bad, and the characters are you don't like the characters. They're stupid, and it's like there's one instance where I can talk about one of the characters being stupid. So this girl is like all alone in a movie theater. She works at the movie theater, so she knows how things work. Um, and she's alone and she hears noises and what happened? Oh yeah, so the killer's in there. There's a killer inside the theater, and so like they play the "Let's all go to the lobby," and she's just standing there for like 5 minutes straight, looking at this thing, and then the killer comes in. It's like you know what? Just forget these characters. Just kill them all. And then the twist of like the who's the bad guy, it makes no sense. They do something in like midway through. It's like, oh, that's something, and it's like, wait, wait, what? And then something happens. It's like, wait, so are you the are wait, hold on. And then the actual real is like, how many people? This is a confusing plot that goes nowhere. It goes nowhere because by the end of the film, you're like, wait, so what's the resolution? What's the final? What's the victory? Who wins? Who wins? Does anybody win? No, no one wins. This is edited horribly, acted horribly, written poorly, directed poorly. It's a cheap knockoff of other slasher movies done better, and I hated it. I hated it. It was terrible. A film that's actively as bad is Night Swim, number 6. I gave both of these films an F. They're not good movies. They will never be good movies. The reason why is because they're awful horror films. This one is PG-13. Now, I didn't see this movie again. There's a website where you can watch free movies, but I don't have any channel, so I don't care. So I just watched this again because I'm not paying to see a movie that sucks as bad as Night Swim because this movie sucks. It's so stupid that the premise alone is just dumb. It's pretty much about this haunting goes around and it's like this family moves into a pool because this guy was a baseball player but he has a disease or he has like a disease and he needs to get treated for, so he gets traded to a team. Spoiler alert, it's the Milwaukee Brewers. And if it was the New York Mets, I would have been like, no, this movie pissed me off, but it's not. So, so they talk about it, and then they move into a house with a pool in the backyard, and they find out the pool is haunted because they seen weird things and weird, strange figures in the background, and they hear voices. And the kids realize it. Who doesn't realize it? The parents. Yeah, they don't realize it. The parents are just they're living life and they're oblivious. Um, so I mean, what do I say about this movie? Let's get into the performances. The Kelly Condon and whatchamacallit, who is this? Kelly Condon and Wyatt Russell. They're trying. Wyatt Russell says something so stupid in the end of the movie where like he's full spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. He's now possessed by the demon and he attacks the children and the family and the daughter comes out and beats the hell out of him and he's alive. He's now back to normal and his son's really damaged and is like drowned to death or almost drowned to death. He turns to his son, he's like, is he okay? Like, you did not just beat the hell out of all your family members. It's like, he's okay. No, he's not okay. The lines of this movie starts to get hilariously dumb to a point where they're spoon feeding you the exposition of what's happening. So like, well, years ago, my son was sick and I needed him to be okay. And so the main thing about this, the spoiler alert, is that this pool was originally a wishing well, in which you would wish something in the water that you want, and then they take something in return. So it's like a trade market thing. You give me this, and I take this. So this woman took her wanted her son to be alive, and so pretty much she killed her own daughter in a way. And for the longest time, he's still alive. He's still in like what is it? He's alive, but the woman's like fully possessed now by like this black goo that happens, and then you see like the possessed, like the previous victims, and it's just so spoon fed to you. Nothing makes sense. It's not scary. That's the problem. Is I would have thought if this movie was good, it would have been scary. It's not scary. It is not scary at all. You don't need to be like, oh, I'm gonna get ready and prepared. It's that the jump scares are non-existent. There's about a couple times where a child jumps out of the corner is like scared you. It's like that's the level of stupidity we're dealing with, guys. It's so bad. It's so bad. I hate it. Night Swim's awful. Do not watch it. Number 6 or 5 is Role Play, another bad movie. We're not even up to the positive movies yet. That's how bad it is. Role Play. This is a movie with Kelly Cuoco from Breaking Bad, or no, not Breaking Bad, The Big Bang Theory, and David Oyelowo. And this movie is about this family and this husband and wife. They're married together, and they like a lot of things, and they do a role play. Um, it's not that role play, but they go to a bar, they have fun. Well, no, not bar. They have fun at a bar, and then they do things. But this guy comes around and is like, he talks with the wife, and it turns out the wife is an international assassin that's been going under a bunch of names. And the first 20 minutes of this movie are like, oh, that's fine. And then it goes into the most aggressively boring and repetitive amount of tropes that I have seen in a movie in a long time. This film is so boring. I actually watched 40 minutes of it a while ago, and I couldn't get through the whole thing because I was like doing other things. But I forgot this movie was out, and so I was like, I'll finish it up. And it is such a bore fest to get through. There is nothing decent about it. I would say the best part about this movie is the fact that the performances are fine. Kelly Cuoco and David Oyelowo are trying with this boring script, these uninteresting characters, the lack of actual good action. It wraps up. It wraps up in a way that's kind of unsatisfying. Doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So I don't know what they were going for. I don't know why they wanted to go for this, but this did not work at all. This is not a good movie. Don't watch it. Now, number 4. All right, we're done with the crap. Right, we're getting into the movie. No, this one's The Underdogs. Number 4. This one's The Underdogs. This is not a good movie either. Well, trust me, we're gonna get into the good ones, but these are not good movies. January was not good to me this year. Last year, January was freaking awesome. This year, January sucks. But what's The Underdogs? This is a movie that I guess is based off of Snoop Dogg's like football company or camp. And so the movie stars Snoop Dogg, and he plays this football character that was drafted, and he was like the best thing ever in everything. He was the best running back in history, and then obviously fame got to him. He got traded so many times and kind of went downhill. And after damaging property, he's like, I don't know what to do. Don't send me to jail. And he's like, I'm going to do community service. And then he sees this raggedy football team that's like no coach and like some of the worst kids to coach, like with the worst attitude. And he's like, I'm going to coach these kids. And it delves into like the most generic like sports movie, like, a classic kind of old-fashioned sports player has to help coach a really bad team, and then they're going to survive. They're the underdogs of these movies, and it's literally titled The Underdogs. And my skin's peeling off. And it becomes the most Again, another just you've seen this movie a million times. It's nothing special. Where Snoop Dogg like has the opportunity, like this is gonna happen. So then later on in the film, Snoop Dogg sees an opportunity to return to his old roots, and it's like he leaves his old team, and it's like, oh well, you guys hate me now, and I hate you, and then it's like, well, we reconcile each other, and so that's like you've seen this same story done so many times. It's nothing new, but the dialogue is so bad. Everyone just has the audacity to just curse. The kids curse in the movie. The kids curse at the other kids. The kids curse at the adults. Even the adults curse at the kids. It's like no one's like safe, like rated R safe. It's not like every scene has to have a curse word. No, every single person in this movie curses. It's like what is the script? What is the story? Does it do anything for anyone? No, it doesn't. So again, it's a boring movie, boring script, a movie you've seen 1,000 times. They don't go anywhere with the characters. I would say the best part is, Snoop Dogg and Mike Epps, they have good chemistry with each other, and there's some jokes that I did chuckle at. But at its core, it's a movie you've seen a million times, and it's nothing special to me. So, Underdogs, number 4. Number 3, are we into the good? No, we're not. This is Lift, the Netflix original January action heist movie that's going to be forgettable in like 2 months or 1 week. This stars Kevin Hart, and his group of stealers has to capture this money or this painting of art that's captured on this train. And so I'm struggling to remember this movie. Pretty much, it's a movie where Netflix does this thing over and over again. I'm going to tell you the Netflix old strategy. They take a group of actors that are famous. They put them with a director that maybe is noticeable or memorable for what they've done in the past. They hire a generic script, generic plot, generic action sequences, everything about this movie. They hire, and basically you've seen this movie a million times. Netflix just throws a bunch of money on screen and hopes that people will eat it up. They did it with Heart of Stone last year, and it's just like and Red Notice and The Gray Man. It's like these action movies have such talented casts and directors, and they don't do anything. They literally don't do anything with them. And I'm starting to get a little annoyed and concerned that this is what we're doing over and over again, and Netflix is just not going to learn from their mistakes. They're not going to learn. What is that? I see a moving. There's something in the background. I see like a little floating thing. Oh, there it goes. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe I'll see it. Oh, it's back again. But again, you've seen this movie a million times, and I was just like, I was bored. I didn't care. There were some jokes that landed for me. I will admit the performances are good, and there's a couple of decent set pieces and action, but overall, it's generic in the movie. You've seen it a million times. Again, it's much like the Underdogs. So Lift, number 3. All right. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Number 2, The Beekeeper. This is a good film. This is a fun movie. I like this movie a lot. I like this film. It's Jason Statham, pretty much his friend, his old friend, who he is a beekeeper, but his friend commits suicide because all of her money is taken, and so now he goes to this company to be like, hey, I want you to know, I had a friend, and you'd stole money from her. And so I'm going to burn this place around. And it's a Jason Statham. It's a throwback to 90s action movies, and it works. It works, and I had fun with it. Jason Statham's awesome in the movie. There's some lines of dialogue and some cheesiness that are just like, yeah, okay, that was stupid. But I had fun with this movie. I generally had a good time watching The Beekeeper. Is it going to be the best movie ever made? No, but it's a fun film. And I know some people are going to have that. You can get drunk with it. You can have friends over, and you can have a good time in the theater if you wanted to. I don't know if the movie's still out, but it's awesome. It's a fun movie. You got to go check it out. It's really, really something special. And then number one, what was the best movie of the month? By far, the highest grade I gave was A minus. And I actually kind of watched this movie twice. Society of the Snow is an incredible film. Society of the Snow is directed by J.A. Bayona, who last helmed The Incredible, which was another kind of disaster movie in which they were not focusing on a disaster. They were focusing on the people and the characters and the emotional grasp with everyone. And I thought this movie did a great job with that. The characters are their emotions are going through the roof. People are dying. It's like I don't want to die. I don't want to freeze to death. It's based off the Uruguayan plane crash that had I think like 60 passengers and only like 19 or 20 survived. So you're left with this really heartbreaking story that gets you, and it gets you. Two problems I have with it. One, could have been paced a little bit better. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes. And two is that certain characters are kind of forgettable, but the emotions, the writing, the script, the cinematography, everything about this film works for 2024. Now, this was a movie that released in selective January theaters, but I count this as a January wide release because that's what it is. This is a January wide release on Netflix, and that's what matters. Now, the reason I'm going to debate this right now. 1917 came out in 2019 in selective theaters worldwide. Now, people were able to watch that movie in selective theaters, so that counts. Widely, it was released in 2020. But I count it as a 2019 movie. Society of the Snow, I'm going to count as a 2024 movie because let's face it, 2024 January is not looking good, but I do think this is a good movie. If it's on Netflix, it counts as a 2024. Pale Blue Eye, it counts as 2024. That's what I'm going to say. So I enjoy this movie a lot. I think everybody should check it out. It's on Netflix right now. If you haven't missed it or haven't checked it out yet, do so. And that's pretty much going to be it. President's Day is coming. Unfortunately, I have to go to late class. Woohoo! You know what? My professor was actually let me go on a tangent here real quick. My professor was talking. My great business 470 professor was talking about this. It's like I don't have to be. Why am I here? We have night classes, really? I don't know. But I'm not. Mine's on Thursday. My show's name's on Thursday. I don't know if I'm doing it with Torelli on. No, I don't think so. But I will be. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the Showtime with Torelli on Tuesday because our Showtimes are normally Tuesday, but I don't know. But next weekend, I'm going to be covering movie reviews. Now, we're going to get back into it. We're going to get into Argyle. We're going to get into Tiger's Apprentice. We're going to get into Orion in the Dark. We're going to get into Upgrade, Lisa Frankenstein, Madam Web, and Bob Marley. S-Slate, S7. And all in one podcast. We're going to do it. We're going to do it for February. So, with that said, I bid farewell. And hopefully you guys heed this message. I am going to return next week on February 22nd. Thank you so much for tuning in. Signing out.